My role as a Threatened Species Commissioner is to raise awareness about threatened species, including our threatened plants, to try to influence policy within government and to mobilise resources from both within and outside government for threatened species conservation. And one of my most important jobs is to lead the implementation of the Australian Government's Threatened Species Strategy, which has some really ambitious targets for protecting Australia's plants. So for example, we've got targets by year 3 to have more than 50% of Australia's threatened plants in seed banks, and targets by year 5 to have 30 priority plants with improved trajectories. My job's also to try to raise awareness of threatened species, so we do this through social media and traditional media and trying to get the community involved in threatened plant conservation through things like planting days or being involved in citizen science. I think translocations are a really important part of our conservation toolkit, and we're supporting a range of translocation projects to prevent the extinction of some of our priority species in the threatened species strategy, like the Matstix banksia, like the small purple pea over here east. Australians' valuing of nature and Australians' awareness of threatened species, including threatened plants, has certainly grown in the time that I've been involved in the conservation sector. The recent studies have shown that more than 85% of modern translocations for conservation have occurred since the early 2000s, and that more than half of them have occurred since 2010. So certainly we're increasingly using translocation as a tool. We're increasingly learning the lessons about what works and doesn't work, and really embedding that in our conservation framework. Well, I think organisations like the Australian Network for Plant Conservation play a really critical role in promoting and developing plant conservation strategies in Australia. So they have a really fantastic role in engaging the community through conducting workshops and training in conservation techniques, through holding conferences like this one, which bring together practitioners, both policymakers and on-ground practitioners together to learn from each other and promote that best practice. And I think they also have a fantastic role in communicating science and communicating latest scientific learnings to the people out there in the community so that they can apply that in their everyday practical conservation efforts. Well, I'm hoping that these new updated translocations are just the go-to publications for people involved in plant translocation in Australia, that they really represent best practice science and the most up-to-date knowledge, and they really have captured the lessons learned from past translocations, the successes, the failures, so that we can learn from them. It really is a start-to-finish guide, from helping people decide whether or not translocation is the right thing, through to what they need to consider to develop a proposal, and then at the end, how they need to monitor the success of their efforts. So I'm really hoping that it's a one-stop shop for people who are involved in translocations.